So if you're around, let me know what's up, let me know what's going on. Always happy to hear from you guys and to hear what's up. As we have to the bottom left-hand side of the map, our green Terran player. Let me... 1 second, guys. I need to unbind a hotkey very quickly. There we go. There we go. My get rid of clan tag hotkey was being taken over by a print screen program. Alright. So to the bottom left hand side of the map, we're going to have our green Terran player coming in from Team MVP, one of the few Korean players who still remains with a team. It is going to be NaTuRal. And he is going to be going up against the blue Zerg player to the lower right hand side of the map. It is Curious. So TVZ best of 3 to kick us off into today's matches. We'll have a look to see how this is going to go and to see what sort of games we might be seeing out of these guys. We've seen quite a lot of interest in TVZ already on the new patch over the last few days, whether it be in the SGL or in even the IEM qualifiers yesterday. I think we saw some interest in TVZ. Is that true? I can't remember. It feels though it was mostly in SGL we've seen TVZ. What did we cast yesterday? We casted some ZvT, casted some PVT. Yeah, I don't think I actually casted any ZvT yesterday. Maybe we did, but anyways, we've definitely seen a fair amount of ZvT, and it's been very interesting. A lot of Hellbat-based cyclone attacks, just, you know, a lot of different ways to kind of use Hellbats in the early game, especially as players want to try and transition into mech in the mid game and play out that sort of mech style. So interested to see how this is going to go. NaTuRal and Curious players who I haven't really cast for a little while. I cast NaTuRal a fair amount recently, actually, in terms of like we cast him a few times, like here and there, in like certain events, like the Do Your Star Masters a while ago. He's been invited to a few SGL Cups and little bits and pieces like that. So, you know, NaTuRal is one of these players who really has been, you know, a big player on this stream. You know, we've cast in a lot of events we've covered. Whereas Curious is a player who we haven't really seen quite as much, I would say. You know, he's been a player who has been, he's a player who's been very sort of, you know, kept to himself, I suppose. He hasn't really explored much in terms of playing in online cups or anything like that, and I wonder if he's actually going to keep on playing too much here in terms of going into next year, because he doesn't sign up for many of the online cups. He doesn't sign up for, say, Leifang Cup qualifiers or anything like that. By the way, Leifang Cup qualifiers tomorrow from from midday CET. Make sure you tune in for those. I've already seen the peak of the bracket, and I can tell you right now, it's pretty darn fun and pretty darn great. Like, there's some really great games in there. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see these links coming in. They're gonna actually get around on this Reaper. Big mistake by NaTuRal there, not paying attention for a second, loses the Reaper, and that shouldn't happen until at least Zerg speed kicks in. So that's a little bit problematic for him here. In the early stages, it just means he loses a bit of map control, a little bit of freedom to figure out what is going on. His vision here hasn't seen the third base, for example, so he doesn't exactly know what's up just yet. So that's a little bit of a shame. He's going to see 2 Hellions from NaTuRal going to start moving out onto the map. So 2 Hellions here from NaTuRal going to move over to the right-hand side. You'll see this Overlord just sort of flying through as well. There's a couple of Marines going to start chasing it down, just push it away out of the main base. So just going to dispose of that there. And again, these 2 Hellions continue to come over to the right. You'll see the third hatchery is up, and we have got an army about to finish up as well, so NaTuRal is going to be going for that Hellbat-based attack. We mentioned this just a few moments ago, kind of how players have been looking at these Hellbat-based attacks as a good way to open up in towards mech play. Let's see what NaTuRal is going to be looking to find with this, as we see this is a super fast Hellbat attack, like 4 Hellbats initially with the 3 Marines, the Medevac mixed in too. Obviously more Hellbats will join the fray. Let's see how many Hellbats it's going to make. Tech Lab on the barracks, which could just be for Stim, which you have to say might transition into Bio from this. We do have 3 Queens going to be moving towards the front, and we're going to see these Zerglings. We're going to see what's up as well. And try and come on in here. I mean, it's good micro from NaTuRal though. He's making sure he's not, being careless or anything. He's making sure he keeps his units in a good position. We're going to see these 2 Hellions have to be a little bit cautious. I think he realizes that those Zerglings are looking for these Hellions, so he's very careful for micro. Nice micro as well. Look at this. He's waiting for the Lings to stack up a bit and then firing. It's working really well for him. He's going to pick off every single one of these Lings. Loses nothing. Across the map, he's still fighting these Queens. He's lost 2 Hellbats so far. Transfusers are out. And now we're going to be seeing that these Marines are able to pick up one of the Queens And they're very low energy if these Hellbats, the rest of them, come across the map as well to have a little bit more fun. Medivac still have some energy on it too, some Marines will come forward. So you're talking down the low health Queen. Another Queen very low on health as well, as Curious continuing to take damage from this. NaTuRal is really starting to get value out of this early push. If he's got another transfuse ready, he does, but on the Queen that's low on health already. So that's not great. We're going to see this Banshee coming in. Has to be cautious, does not want to lose that before we see the Cloak finishing, and before we can really get further damage done. So we've seen this couple of units backing with the left-hand side, and here comes the Banshee back in. He's going to be picking off one of these Queens, and he's going to keep on going because this Swarm Crawler is not ready just yet. He will pick off a few drones as well. We'll now back away. Oh, he just picks off one more there. Maybe it could have been two with a little bit better target firing, but nonetheless, he's able to get away, and he's able to pull back over towards the left-hand side now. So, see this Medivac, Banshee, sorry, going to pull away. We'll probably get repaired back up. Another Banshee at the front, a Hellbat here as well to help defend. And behind all of this, we have seen Stimpack, extra barracks, and double engineering base coming down, which is what Curious is going to confirm at this point, as he flies on in with this Overlord. So he's just going to confirm, okay, you are going to switch it up into bioplay after this, and that's great information, because if you don't know what composition your opponent is playing, it can become troubling. So identifying mech or bio at this time really allows Curious to make the right decisions in terms of composition. As the lair finishes up, you can decide, does he need Baneling speed, does he want the Roach running, and so on and so on. You can make all of those decisions as required. And we're going to see two Banshees starting to move out onto the map here. NaTuRal will be heading on over to the right-hand side to see what he can get up to. And see if he's going to target down and pick off that set of rocks on the low ground. I'm just going to be seeing this orbital lifting up and just moving into position onto the third base as well. So, just going to be seeing this, base being taken, and a couple of Banshees coming forwards again, looking to see what they can do. Can actually just close up here, but Queens is enough of them to push this away. And these Banshees, one of them goes down, the other one managing to survive, and does manage to get off over to this side of the main base. You see a few drones going to start being target fired, so a little bit of damage going to be done here as the Banshee picking up a couple of kills. So a couple of kills going down as Banshee will relocate around. We'll just look for a little bit of a different way to kind of move on in here in the near future. Banshee going to back over to the left of the season. Marine's actually to the top side. Going to cancel the fourth base. Having Stim up already is really nice. Tries to catch that drone, doesn't manage to find it though. It's very unfortunate to let the drone survive with such low health. I mean, it's just a little bit unlucky. Not the end of the world. I mean, it's just one drone. They would have slowed him down a little bit further, as the new drone would have had to walk from the NaTuRal or the third base over here. Yeah, we'll just slow him down a little bit extra in a few more seconds. There's another few Marines going to move out onto the map. These Medevac's not coming with him just yet, which is obviously a bit of a mistake. There's no reason for him not to bring these Medevac's, so it's a little bit of an interesting one. I'm sure he'll fix that up very soon. Banshee, that still survives it around here. As you see, this Doctor we shut down already. Ling's in position and Curious able to defend this nicely. But you can really see how NaTuRal has an advantage here. You know, from the early stages of the game, that Hellbat attack, it did do a lot. It forced a lot of damage, killed a lot of Queens, and just forced so many units out. It meant that the drone count of Curious wasn't great for a while. And you can see it in the army supply right now. You know, for a long time here, NaTuRal has been up, and he's continuing to stay up, and that's never great for us, because generally at this stage of the game, especially, the Terran army is going to be trading a lot more efficiently than the Zerg army will be. So if you're kind of struggling behind in supplies with Zerg at this point, you're really not having a very good time. As you see, with a couple of mines mixed into this drop, big drop in towards the main base, and oh, the Hellbat's going to take a lot of the initial damage. Widowmine will have to clean it as well. One last Baneling is actually going to get a huge connection in the center of those Marines, as we'll try to back away, but Muta's actually picking off these Medevacs as well. A little bit of lack of micro there from NaTuRal, not pulling back these Medevacs, as fast as he maybe should be. A few more Zerglings streaming on in, so we're going to see another scan. Banshee will pull up on up, try and help out a little while longer. Widowmine goes off, and that will be about the end of everything. As you see the Banshee taken down as well. These few Medevacs are going to try and boost away, but the Middleists know where they are. Don't think they're going to last very long. The Medevac with Marines in goes down instantly as it's super low health. Some Marines stimming in as well, and there's been some good trades from Curious in the last few moments, but that said, he still trails in supply here in the early stages of game number 1. Lingers and Mutas gathering together here as Curious, just going to be getting set to maybe move on to the map once again. Actually, I mean, I say move on to the map once again. He hasn't really been out on the map at all. He's been very much so saying, hey, you know what? I am a little bit behind, so I'm just going to sit at home with my army and just make sure I'm defending more so than really pushing forwards and looking to, you know, attack myself. He goes to come forward and reach these units on creep, but I'd be surprised if he went too far off of the creep right now. Unless he feels very confident. I mean, to be fair, he just won this little bit of a skirmish over here, so he's going to move forwards. Picks off another Widow Mine, but he doesn't chase all the way. He knows as soon as reinforcements come in, he will be outnumbered. So he's just going to back off. Very smart play, honestly, by Curious. He knows when to back away. He knows when he can just push a little bit further off creep. So showing a great knowledge there. As you see, it's going to fly on in. These Marines getting cleaned out as well. The 5th hatchery will come into the northern side of the map. So I'll come in here very, very soon, as this medevac will come up to the top side as well. He's going to be coming up to the top side across the top. I'm looking to see what direction he can go in himself, as these mutas have to be a little bit cautious right now. Widow Mine's going to burrow, going to unburrow. Scan comes down, he's going to see some of these creep units being picked away at, so a little bit of creep being cleaned out right here as you just see these veins moving forwards, and looking to try and connect. Widow Mine's getting cleaned out pretty quickly. We're going to be seeing the mutas again trying to pick away at another medevac or so. Bane's just going to be finishing up right now. Going to be, what, another 15 Balins here and another 15 morphing in, so I'm really looking to keep on kind of pushing forward. These Marines get sacrificed to run in towards those Banes. Jump to the top side, getting shut down again. This new account is really kind of scary at this point. Very difficult to really deal with for the current player. And of course, away from these Banes, they're still kind of finding some decent connections. Going to knock down these rocks now, and imagine sort of maybe attack his way through it, because obviously it doesn't make a lot of sense to also just sit here and be like, okay, just going to sit and, kill the rocks and then not do anything on the high ground. If he had tanks or something, then sure, killing these rocks makes a lot of sense. He can reach the mineral line. I guess this is, I still really liked it if it was a tank floor, right? Because he's still dropping down to low ground. So the idea is he's going to like attack a little bit and stay very safe for the rest of his army. But look at Curious, he just says, cool. You know what, you waste time up there. I'm going to go counterattack. You just go a huge counterattack across here. Not very many units in position for NaTuRal. Big drop to the top side is not going to really have too much either. Widow Mine's going to get shut down before they can burrow as well, so big mistake there. And this medevac can jump in towards the main base. So action all over the place as Curious continues to do damage across the map. Zergons continue to pick off another Marine or two, some SCVs as well. And these Mulas going to pick off a few more of these SCVs also in the NaTuRal expansion. Picks off a Widow Mine there down in the low ground. And these Mulas going to continue picking away. Just a few more workers. So a few more workers going down. Ling's going to go up in towards the main base as well. And I wouldn't mind going to go off some Zergons getting blown on up. And a couple more Marines going to be going down. And there's just too much over here from Curious. Eventually I think he'll clean up this on this side of the map as well. At the same time he's just denying so much mining, so much of the army and reinforcements to NaTuRal that he will take game number 1. Curious takes game 1. GG's. Let's see if NaTuRal can fight his way back into the series and maybe again get off to a good start and this time follow through. Green Terran player is NaTuRal, spawning into the top right hand side of Daybreak. Down to the bottom left hand side is going to be our blue Zerg player. Let's see it, guys. If you're cheering on, Curious. Again, guys, what's up in the chat? Let me know how you're all doing. Let me know how you're all feeling. Hope you're all having a good day so far. And obviously it's just starting, but hopefully you had a good weekend up until now. We're going to have an action-packed day of StarCraft 2 for you all. We're going to be starting off with the IEM Qualifiers, which we're casting right now, obviously, as you can see, unless you're really not paying very much attention. But we've got the IEM Qualifiers for you guys right now. In about 3.5 hours' time, the Go for SE2 Sunday goes live. Now, we're not going to cast the Go for SE2 Sunday from the very start. What we're actually going to do is we're going to cast the Go for SE2 Sunday after about an hour. So when we finish the IEM Qualifiers, I'm going to go home for like an hour or so, get some lunch. Then I'm going to come back in and cast the Go for SE2. And we'll also cast after the Go for SE2, we're going to cast Top Dogs Season 8, Round of 8. So that's going to be live from, I believe, 7 p.m. CET as well. So that's all going to be going on, and that is our action for the day. So 3 different tournaments, just because we can't stop at just one. We just got to bring you guys as much action as we can, you know? We just can't help ourselves. We just can't help ourselves. So that's going to be going on for the day, so make sure you sit down, stay tuned in, and get ready for an exciting day of StarCraft 2, because there's going to be so much action going on. So much happening. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it. And again, hopefully you guys looking forward to it as well. Overlord here in the early stages of the game is just flying across the map. Nothing really to see here, as we see Reaper will pop out as well and go over to the left hand side. So just going to be looking to see what's going on here in these early stages. Just going to move over to the left and have a little bit of a scout around in towards the main and NaTuRal. Curious. And just look to see what's going on what's happening in the next few moments. If you can pick up a drone or so, that'd be great, but drone will just become an extractor, so no real issue there. Stays alive, and just the classic dance between Reaper and Zerglings now to start the game. NaTuRal lost his Reaper to the slow ling of last game. Hopefully that's something he's not going to do again this time around. We'll want to keep his eye on this Reaper, make sure he doesn't let it get surrounded by Zerglings or anything crazy like that. Queen gets it very low. 1 HP, that Reaper just about manages to get out of there. And we'll just hold the Watchtower now instead. So very safe to hold the Watchtower, obviously. He has that extra vision, so he gets a good amount of warning about the lings coming in. And that means he should be pretty safe in this spot. So Reaper just going to sit on the Watchtower. A couple of Marines going to start working their way through these unbuildable plates here on the low ground. As the command center is just going to be finishing up morphing into an orbital here in the next few moments as well. So CC will finish morphing into an orbital. Thing speed's about, what, 10 seconds away, so it's all very stunned in terms of timings right now. The only thing we're missing is Curious has a lot of gas. He didn't build Pneumatized Carapace, yet he also still hasn't taken a third base either, so it's almost as though, he's taking a third as though he's taking Pneumatized Carapace. He still has a lot of gas in the bank, and I wonder if he uses that in some sort of cheeky little way here in the very near future. Maybe a kind of a free base lair and go into a fast spire again or something. I say again, but that's something he hasn't done before, but it could go into like a fast spire or something. This has a lot of gas. I imagine you could also just pop the double Evo chamber down and go in towards some very fast upgrades. So that could be something he goes for too here in the early stages. As you see him adding on a Spore Crawler, no, nothing to spend that gas on just yet. The first Widowmine will move across the map now from NaTuRal. We're actually now at a couple of Cyclones after this, and now some Hellions as well, also into a Viking. I wonder if he just sort of feels, I mean the Viking, I guess it can shut down some Overlords and so on. Still find it somewhat interesting, the Viking. It's something that you generally don't necessarily do too often in TVs nowadays. It's going to be doing some nice damage to this Queen over here. He'll move forwards, he should be able to pick that off with the Marines. Oh, he gets him to creep, so just a little bit faster. The Headback will lift it up, he needs to target it. Oh, he doesn't get it. So unfortunate actually, because it was so close to going down. Now there's going to be a transfuse available, so this Queen will get healed back up. And that's going to be, well, the end of the potential of picking that Queen up. So that's annoying, because also now this Queen, which was going to die, has a transfuse ready as well. That said, there's a little bit of a push forward here. It's doing quite a bit, but Lings are going to come in from either side. And oh, the Widowmine shot is huge though. Gets a lot of these against the Cyclones. I mean, they'll still go down. But man, that was a really good Widowmine shot. That actually very nearly saves the day. One Cyclone will get away here as the Zerglings run out. And there's only going to be Queens left over. 2 more Hellions coming across the map as well, but on their own, they're not going to be able to get too much more done. Viking picks up his second overall of the game, kill of the game already. And the Hellions and the Cyclones going to move forwards again, trying to pick off a Queen. They're also going to back off once again. Man, that hatchery got so low so quickly, like half health in just a few seconds. I was actually almost sure it was maybe going to go down, but it was just Curious buying his time, waiting for the flank in from both the right-hand side and the south side to kind of come in at the same time and really shut things down. Going to be seeing these Lings is going to be coming back, and we're going to be seeing one of them just popping onto the Watchtower momentarily. Still a bit of an attack coming forward, some Hellbats and the Cyclone. Still looking to see what he can get up to. This Viking having the time of its life, finding the third Overlord now on the Zerg player side of the map. This is where that Pneumatized Carapace might have actually been a bit more useful than you would have initially thought. As all these Overlords continue to drop down, so very effective Viking early on. A few Marines here to defend, and it is once again BioClear as a follow-up here from NaTuRal. So same old as game number 1. You see these Queens going to find Hellbats and the Cyclone in the center of the map. They will just have to back away. One Hellbat goes down. The rest of the units will move away for now. Can these Lings really fight this? I mean, there's like 7 Lings against 3 Hellbats in the Cyclone. Probably not. So these units should be fairly safe for now. Just still sat out on the map. As we're going to see, the Liberator actually comes on in. We're going to see this Viking is going to be able to pick off another Overlord. That's 4 Overlord kills already. Really getting value out of this early Viking. Really getting a lot of value out of this early Viking. And as we're going to be seeing the Liberator kind of reposition in towards the main base as well. So Liberator going to reposition in towards the main. Going to siege up here, and a couple of drones going to start taking some damage. So a few shots going to be dealt. Some of these drones, Spore going to come back into position as well. And Liberator was going to go to the right side, sees the Queen there. And instead go over to the left and maybe just wait a little while before re-engaging in. 2 drones going down to this then. So a little bit of harassment obviously is doing a decent job. They're knocking through majors. Again, we see sort of Curious down in supply in these earlier stages of the game. So NaTuRal, his early damage is adding up. The early attacks, he's trading quite well. He's just kind of pressuring the Zerg player and taking a little bit of a lead while we see You know, I guess we've got to imagine, though, the Zerg's already started 2-2. We obviously see the Infestation Pit coming down. So, I mean, there's reasons he's a little bit behind on supply, but I sort of feel he shouldn't be 20, 30 supply down, you know? We'll lose these Zerglings as well. This is not a good trade at all for Curious. And you can see that NaTuRal is really starting to take a resources loss advantage here. To the top left side of your screens right now, 1.7k to the 2.4. NaTuRal finding good trades, but you gotta remember he did this as well. In the last game, he took an advantage, NaTuRal, but then he wasn't able to push through and find victory with it. So he sort of, you know, that's sort of, you know, a big issue. And so we're going to look again. This time he's not going to do anything fancy. He's not dropping around. He's just pushing straight up at the front with all of these units. Wouldn't going to unburrow and reburrow. He's going to keep on stimming forwards. And, well, Harbats in the front. There's just no Banelings or anything. There's only Zerglings, and against this many Marines, only Zerglings is not going to quit it. GG. And NaTuRal does tie up this series 1 game apiece. Curious and NaTuRal here in the IEM Gyeonggi Qualifiers game number 2. Here at the top right hand side of the map, our green Terran player is going to be the one and only NaTuRal, tying the series up 1 game apiece. Quite nice actually. Always great to see a 3rd game coming on in, so that's exactly what we're going to be seeing here in the early stages. It's down to the south side of the map. Our blue Zerg player is going to be Curious. And he is going to be looking to obviously try and win out this series on Varney Research Station. Always a fun and interesting map. Now you have to excuse me guys, we're on a 3-minute delay, so trying to run 2-minute ad breaks is a little bit awkward. I have to tab out at the start of the next game to run the 2 minutes, so give me just a moment here. Just going to have no game sound as we follow this Overlord in towards the NaTuRal expansion. Now there is no Reaper in this game out of NaTuRal, which is obviously a little bit different. Not quite what you usually expect. Usually expect a Reaper expand, but this is going to be a reactor expand. So a few Marines early on, starport, then a factory builds a reactor. I was going to say, this could be like a super aggressive sort of, not super aggressive, but like, it sort of is super aggressive. It's sort of like, so the build this is, I believe, is going to be like a lot of Marines, like 14 Marines of Widowmine and 2 Medivacs. So very similar to the stim drop, but it hits about a minute earlier, but it doesn't have stim. So that's obviously sort of the big difference, right? Like, oh man, like stim has a huge difference, and that's why you can get away with it hitting about a minute earlier. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see if this is really what he's going to commit into, because it's one of these builds which he might also just go for like Hellrats or something right now. No, he is going to swap it. Yeah, it's one of these builds which is not super common, because a lot of people say, well, if you do this, you may as well just do the proper stim-based build, because with this build, your stim comes in way late. You think about it, like, at this point, you would usually have stims build, starting to build already from a Terran player if they went for 2-1-1. In this case, he's not going to start stim until he gets another rack sub, so that's still a long way away. That's going to take him quite some time to get to, so a lot of people sort of feel as though the 2-1-1 is just a way better way of doing an attack like this. And especially if Curious scouts this, now he knows what it is, he isn't going to be caught off guard or anything. He should have units up in time, and that will, make things kind of interesting here as his attack gets ready to go. So the units load up, move across the map. We are going to see, I was going to say, like a Liberator and a Viking. It's a very standard way to follow this up as well. Either double Liberator or Liberator Viking. You don't generally have the gas for double Liberator right away, so Liberator Viking is more common. And then you get one Liberator in position to harass, and you get the Viking out, as we saw in the last game, to shut down Overlords, and obviously did a good job in the last game. So investing into a Viking once again now really does make a lot of sense. You're going to see him starting to load some Marines to the side of this NaTuRal expansion, and this is actually where the 3rd base is being built, so there isn't creep over here or anything just yet. And that does make it a little bit more awkward for these Queens to get in position, for example, as we see already half health on this hatchery. A few more Lings taking a little bit more damage as well, pulling back a little bit now. Widowmine is going to help out, actually will connect, but Queen goes down. We'll have to lift up and back away now. But that was actually a pretty decent trade here so far. Hatchery is half health as well, and that means more easily snipable later in the game. Single Marine is going to be pressuring at the front and seeing what's up. Gets an overload to half health, but he isn't going to last too much longer around here. These Marines going to stay in these Medivacs, the right-hand side. Spore Cooler coming into position so you can get rid of this Widowmine as well. The Queens will clean that up before it comes off cooldown, and they pick up that kill rather easily in the end. Now 4 more barracks are on the way, so we see NaTuRal going straight in towards his mid-game at this point. You see the Viking picking up the first Overlord kill. One more Overlord on the map, and that's over here towards the central position. These medevac's trying to unload again. Has to be cautious of the spore core because the last thing he wants was to lose units like that. Ooh, Queen goes down. No transfuse. Big mistake. A little bit too focused on actually killing off that medevac. Gonna try and get the other one as well. Boost away. Actually still goes down. Green range, why are you so good? Queens are going to just try and trade the best they can then in the end here. And still would say that this has been fairly successful. But losing the medevacs always does suck. I mean, losing medevacs is never great. Ideally, you would want to keep your medevacs alive as long as possible as it's Viking. I don't know if he'll actually get this overlord just because of the fact it can get towards these queens pretty quickly. And the queens do have the range to maybe protect it here. He might commit just because it's only 2 shots from death. And he will indeed commit in and then back away. So, second overlord kill of the game. But he can move up here now and maybe pick off this one as well. He can keep hunting around. I mean, there's a couple more overlords out in kind of forward positions that he might be able to get. So it just depends. If there's the Liberator, he's picked up 4 kills throughout the game. Sorry, we didn't really follow that much at all throughout this, but has picked up 4 kills on that Liberator. Doesn't do too much more because he has been sort of finally getting killed off here. Third base been slowed down a little bit by a few Zerglings, of course. Curious up in workers right now is not in a supply deficit as he has been in the last few games at this sort of stage, so already that's a little bit of a bonus at least for him. He's been maybe defending a little bit better, we could say. I don't know, like I feel as though like the last few games, especially game 2, I feel game 1 he definitely took damage to be behind. But game number 2, it didn't feel as though he'd taken that much damage to end up behind or anything like that, so it does surprise me to some extent to actually see, you know, players kind of like, yeah, just sort of see players sort of ended up in a bit of a part where they're so in such a disadvantage. I'd have to go back and actually watch game 2, I think, to really see where Curious slipped up, because he was just so far behind in supply. I guess obviously losing a few lings here and there on the map sort of added to it. I mean, it was that sort of Hellbat Cyclone attack, yes, but when you look at it, and it still looks as though it got shut down pretty quickly by a flank of lings, so I don't know, maybe Hellbats and Cyclones are just overpowered and a bit broke. Maybe, just maybe. Anyways, Team Marines trying to go around, and these lings are not going to let them do it as we see the Queens coming in to help push that medevac away. And see a few more of these Marines as well, looking to see what else they can get up to. The scan comes down, and a couple of troop units getting picked off. The Ling is trying to move forward here again, and you see the Widowmine going off. One Queen goes down very quickly. Another Widowmine again going off as well. A lot of these are going to take a bunch of damage. And we're going to see an Overseer starting to morph in as well. So an Overseer coming in overhead. And it's just going to be having these Marines try and push on forward, trying to pick off an Overlord, but unsuccessful. NaTuRal's again, all of a sudden, here we are. He finds himself 20 supply ahead, and why? I just don't know. Curious just maybe hasn't stuck in as many drones as he needs, I guess. And so he's just sitting 20 supply behind. I mean, I guess, again, he is playing quite greedy, going straight into Hive, not trying to go into Mutas or anything like that, just straight to Hive with 2-2 upgrades and Ling Bane. But still, like a 20 supply deficit in ZvT. His work count's very low, like 58 drones to 65 SCVs is super aggressive. It's almost too low even for kind of a TVZ, so it's very interesting here as we have a few lings, a lot of lings actually going to go up the right-hand side of the map to see what they can get up to. So all of these things are going to come up the right-hand side here, but they're going to run straight into the Marines, but they are going to get into the main base as well. Depots do not get raised in time. So this is a little bit problematic. I love that. At least one link on the depot to make sure it cannot be raised. And that means that these units will be able to stream on in as they please. They pulls the entire Terran army back. Look at this. Everything stimming back home to come in and try and minimize the damage being taken here from these Zerglings. And yes, these Zerglings are more or less forfeit. They are going to die. But the worker damage done is insane. From a 65-ish worker count to 46. And he's still picking up more kills. He's going to pick up pretty much every SCV towards the natural expansion. In fact, every SCV towards the natural will go down, apart from maybe there's one on the gas to the south. No, he's going to get that too, maybe. No one knows. Okay, I mean, he got quite a lot, though. He's going to still pick up 2 more as well. Wow, 35 workers to 67. And just like that, one counterattack puts Curious into a fantastic position in the economy. And now with an Ultra Cavern and a Spire on the way, with the Hive up, Curious has hit his late game. Or he's about to hit his late game, and he's going into his late game with a huge eco advantage, and then, you know, having slowed the Terran players push down, so he's gotten through the stage where life is very difficult for him, where it's very tough for him to really do much, and he has to just defend against the Terran player, and he's defended that just by being aggressive himself. So that's exactly what we've seen here. As we're going to be seeing these Marines, a couple of Marauders, and Widowmine's going to start moving down the left-hand side to see what they can get up to. So these units are going to move down the left. We're going to see a few Zerglings here from Curious as well, looking to see what is up, and NaTuRal will just continue to move on forward. So Widowmine going to burrow, and a couple of Widowmines going to burrow actually as the exception. I mean, he still has a very strong push right now. But the thing is, Curious can play very patiently at this point. Just try and wait it out. If he really comes to it, he could maybe even lose a fourth phase. It wouldn't be great as the Balin connection goes in towards the third. But he would still buy him time for the ultras, and that would just be a game ender right now because there's no preparation at all for those units out of NaTuRal. And burrows the Widowmines. He burrows them again. He'll go off in a very low number of Zerglings. Curious cleans up this first attack of NaTuRal. NaTuRal will be pushed back. And I mean, he's running around the place trying to clean up the Zerglings once again, still back at home. So this is really frustrating for him. As these two Marines and Marauders come in, they clean up a few of these Lings. Honestly, there's just not going to be enough for NaTuRal. I mean, how can he possibly keep on pushing with only 29 workers? He's just not going to find enough units here. He's not even trading that efficiently either, off of way less economy. Everything's kicking in for Curious. Free upgrades are going to be finishing. Chitinous Plating, you can start ultras if you want to. Now, Terran players still just starting to making Widowmine and Bioforces. It's just not going to be enough. These Lings on their own might go a long way towards ending this game. As he comes on in, he's going to take off the Widowmine before he can get a shot off. We're just going to be seeing too many Lings, not enough Marines. Two Bins going up the ramp, thinking about busting down. They do break down the depots as the third base gets ranked by Fulton. Will go up the ramp in towards the main base as well. Widowmine himself is not even that good because he's puts away at the last moment and continues to minimize the damage. Lings continue to clean up more and more units here as these medevacs lift on up. Widowmine's going to go off again, a little bit more damage done once more as we're going to be seeing these Lings continue to pick away at just so much more in the main base. GG. Curious is going to take the series 2-1. GG. Congratulations, Curious. He does move on through to the next